Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Let's wave to Facebook Live. Welcome here in the Daily Antidote of Song. So happy to be here today for Kevin. I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is day number 663 of the Daily Antidote of Song. We are sponsored by the fabulous Carpe Diem Arts, and we are bringing a song a day for 663 days so far to get everyone singing. I am so excited today to talk with a very dear old, not old him, but old our friendship friend, Kahn, coming in from Charlotte, North Carolina. But before I introduce him, I would like to welcome every single person in this room. Hello, hello to Joe. You are our fantastic mind that has created this crazy space that we all love each other so much. We're getting to know people, our new best friends. And Katie, thank you for the thank you for keeping us all technically together. Hello to Becky in BC and Jaden and Arlene in Berkeley. Hello Deli, hello Susan, hello Dick, and hello Brian. Hello Susan and Joni and Sheila in Florida. Hello Elizabeth and Busy Graham with Carpe Diem Arts. So good to see you. Hello Karen and Deborah in Kentucky. Hello Harriet, Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Hello Kim in Vancouver. Hello, Don and Mama Curly Tops and any other associated curly tops with you in Vermont. Hello, Gary and Doug in Vermont and Kate in Charlottesville. Hello, Shari in New Hampshire, Dan in Vienna, Phil in Totnes, where we're about to come visit you. Just watch out for that Daily Antidote bus coming off of the Daily Antidote boat sailing pretty soon. Hello, Carolyn in Boise, and Sarah in Texas, Bonnie in Boise, and Susan G. Hello, Dane and Kevin. Thank you, 662. Kevin, I think we need to have a chat because I think it's 663, but I'm not sure. Hello, Jamie and Victoria, Christiana and Bob in Rockville. Hello, Ruth in England, and Martha and Cliff in Vermont. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Hello, Maureen in Edmonton. Storm with another fantastic hat. Hello, Luda in Victoria with your beautiful heart. Hello, Kathy in Virginia. Bob in Tucson. Barb in Virginia and Jane in Pennsylvania. Hello, Kim in New York City. Hello, Amy in Atlanta and Rosemary in Maryland. Hello, Ralph and Penny in Victoria and Fred in Silver Spring and Diane and another curly tops, a kid. Hello, Juana Tejana and Mabel in Massachusetts with your bears. I'm going to take a little breath. Hello, Sandy in North Carolina. Shari, there you are again in New Hampshire. Gloria in Minnesota. And those of you not on camera, we welcome you to be here with us. And Bronwyn, Maryland. Susan in Seattle and Lorna in Portland. Loriana, Kachina, Courtney in Vermont. And Carr and Bob and LMG and C. Cox and Jay Corobo and Jill and Gretchen and Robert and Caroline in DC and Nancy and Jane in Maryland. Let's see, where are we now with our screens? Isabel and Janet and Aloysius. Welcome everyone to the Daily Antidote of Song. Greetings, everyone from Pine Lake, Georgia. I'm Elise Witt. I'm your host for today, and I'm so excited to be here with a fantastic, wonderful, and multifaceted Kahn, singer, author, composer, playwright, performer, activist, and so much more. But we'll talk about more about Cy as we after we get to sing with him. Cy, welcome to the Daily Antidote. I know you've been here before, and it's so good to sing with you again.
Elise, it is wonderful to see you again after so many years, after too many years. That was an extraordinary introduction. Can we get the LP?
Yes, everything is recorded. We'll be issuing the LP
Beautiful.
shortly.
Yeah, but you'll do it on vinyl, right?
Absolutely.
No, it was really beautiful. Such a lovely way to welcome people and to sort of introduce us to an era of song. Thank you.
That is the way of the Daily Antidote of Song. So, Sai, what are you going to sing with us today? We're so excited to sing with you.
The song is called Journey Through This Life. It's a love song for my very long-term best friend, partner, and spouse, Elizabeth Minnick, public philosopher, feminist, author, educator. We met in the 11th grade in 1959. We have been best friends all this time, a couple for over 40 years. And one of these days, I'll put out a quadruple album of love songs for her. I don't know where I got the structure for this song. So maybe before I sing it, I'll just briefly explain, and then when we rehearse, explain at a little more length. It's an a cappella song. And the first verse, you hear the same line 4 times. Fortunately, that's the only time you hear a line 4 times in a row. As we get to the second verse, there will be a new line, and we'll sing it once and twice, and then we'll go back and sing the line from the first verse, and then we'll go back to the verse that we just sang for the first time. And this structure will repeat itself throughout the song. It's in the chat. You could go study it. If anybody knows of songs that are structured in this way, I'd love to hear it. I'm sort of an amateur ethnomusicologist, and I'm fascinated by the structure of songs. I, for the most part, borrow traditional frameworks for my songs from, traditional blues and African American music, from Jewish music, from, Anglo American and Irish tradition, because I think that songs are both songs and poems, and the strength of poems is the internal structure. It's just like the framework for a house before you start putting on the siding and the cabinet work. That structure is there to maintain strength and to give definition to the building. And that's very much what I want to do with my songs. I want to make them both structurally sound, but also inviting. And one of the strengths of the old songs, the old structures, is they were meant for people who were going to sing together. They were not meant for performance. They were meant for community singing, for group singing, for singing together.
Let's give it a try.
Okay. I have my magic pre-electronic sound generator. You don't need batteries. You don't need solar power, although solar power is a very good thing. You don't need to plug it in. All you need is the power of the human lung. And it goes like this. I'm on a journey through this life. 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 When times are hard, you are my friend. When times are hard, you are my friend. I'm on a journey through this life. When times are hard, you are my friend. You comfort me and help me stand. You come, you comfort me and help me stand. When times are hard, you are my friend. You comfort me and help me stand. I thank you for the friend you've been. Thank, I thank you for the friend you've been. You comfort me and help me stand. I thank you for the friend you've been. Your smile so warm, it breaks my heart. Your smile so warm, it breaks my heart. I thank you for the friend you've been. Your smile so warm, it breaks my heart. Your skin so smooth, my fingers ache. Your skin so smooth, my fingers ache. Your smile so warm, it breaks my heart. Your skin so smooth, my fingers ache. Come lay my head down on your breast. Come lay my head down on your breast. Your skin so smooth, my fingers ache. Come lay my head down on your breast. For there is rest within your arms. For there is rest within your arms. Come lay my head down on your breast, for there is rest within your arms. And there is peace within your love. And there is peace within your love, for there is rest within your arms, and there is peace within your love. I'm on a journey through this life. I'm home, and there is peace within your love. I'm on a journey through this life. I'm on a journey through this life.
Oh, take a breath, everyone. Thank you, Sai. That is a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's so perfect for this week of our Journeys and Traveling Week. We are, of course, not talking about the vacations that we are all wishing that we could take to tropical climes. We're talking about traveling and journeys when we have to leave. We have to go somewhere. Maybe our family is looking for a better life. Maybe there's a fire or a flood and we're having to leave in a hurry. We're having to pack those suitcases. We were talking about that on Monday with the Ready or Not song. This song is so beautiful, and I agree. You must have stolen that structure from somewhere because it sounds ancient, and I'm sure it happened somewhere. But I'm gonna definitely be on the lookout. We need to talk with Jennifer Cutting and Steve Winnick from
Ah,
the Folklife Archives and see if they. I'm sure they have some ideas about that. I wanted to ask you a couple things about this song. First of all, um, I don't believe that you grew up in Appalachia or with that a cappella tradition, but the music you write, I know that many times people have called your songs public domain or that they're traditional because they
right,
sound like
right.
they really come. What when I was thinking about talking with you today, I was wondering about if you remember like the first song that you ever made. I don't know, right is the word, if you were like a child or what started you songwriting and how did you come to make these songs that sound like they've been around forever?
Well, it helps that I've been around forever. I'll be 78 in April. I'm 2 years away from turning 80.
That is
That
not
is ancient.
forever.
That is ancient, right? So sort of physically and spiritually, I resonate with what's ancient.
Hmm.
Um, I don't remember the first song I wrote, but I know that I wrote it when I was in kindergarten. And the reason I know is that after my dad died, we'll talk a little more about him because he's central to the sound of my music. The one thing I wanted to find when I cleaned out his house, and I've yet to find, is my kindergarten report card. And it says, Cy has written a little song. We are teaching it to the class. We hope to encourage him in this activity.
Well, obviously, they encouraged you, and hopefully, all your other elementary school and so on teachers did the same
Um,
because isn't it amazing though how important it is to encourage children when we catch one of those sparks of creativity, whatever it is, if it's writing a song or, writing a poem, building something to encourage children when we see that spark. So, yay for your kindergarten teacher.
right. And Elise, all children make up songs. They just do
Yes,
that. They wander around the house singing
yes,
and making up words, or maybe they don't even have language yet, but they sing. And then too often they get into a classroom setting and a well-meaning teacher says, that's very nice, but we have a songbook here. And here are some real songs. And it's true. And that beautiful spark of spontaneous, unself-conscious creativity is just driven out of them.
right.
So I was very lucky to grow up in a house surrounded by music. My mother, Rosalind Aronson Kahn, was a very fine amateur classical pianist. I don't actually know if she ever took lessons, if she just taught herself, but I would come home from school, from kindergarten on into when I left home to go to college. And my mom would be sitting at the baby grand in our living room, playing for her own enjoyment. I don't think she ever played for anyone other than the family, but Lord, did she play for the family? And she loved classical music. She played the romantics, Schumann, Schubert. I could never tell them apart, and Chopin and Liszt. So I grew up literally, not to quote the title of a Broadway play, but with the sound of music in my ears. And my dad was a rabbi, as far as I'm concerned. He's still a rabbi. He's just been not on this earth for a lot of years. And so and he was religiously observant. So I grew up in the synagogue. And that is a situation of spontaneous music. There's the congregational singing is very, very much a part of Jewish religious services. One time when I had written more than my one kindergarten song, my dad said to me, he said, how did you end up as a country and Western singer. Well, he had the genre maybe a tiny bit misplaced, but fundamentally he's right. And I said, well, Pop, you taught me. And he said, what? I did no such thing. What do you mean I taught you to be a country and Western singer? He probably had never heard a country and Western song in his life. Although he was a working class kid, but he didn't grow up in that milieu. And I said, well, think of the music that we sang in the synagogue and at home. It's unaccompanied. There's no music. There's no instruments that go along with it. It's spontaneous. The harmony is always there, but there's not a written harmony line. We make it up as we go along. And it's highly embellished. You know, there are trills, there are slides. We navigate our way from one note to another, not directly, but indirectly. And I said, you know, Pop, actually in bluegrass, that's what we call the high lonesome sound. And I think that growing up, learning to sing unaccompanied, learning to sing harmony spontaneously. When you sing a cappella, you have to keep your own rhythm. And it's not necessarily a regular rhythm. When I did Journey Through This Life, the lines are of different length. I'm singing them as I feel them. That's very different from when you've got a drummer and if you don't keep the beat with the drummer, you got problems, right? So I think it's just very, very deep in my psyche and my soul to sing in this way. And it really is very much the sound of Appalachia. And I think for many of the same reasons, you know, when people went into the mountains, they didn't carry pianos with them.
Well,
Maybe a fiddle. Yeah, go ahead.
well, I
Please.
was just going to say that every culture has its way of hearing the harmonies, and they're not the
Yeah.
same. But the
Not,
culture,
no,
we have
not
we have
even close.
we have a cultural way of doing spontaneous singing as well, of across, you know, the cultures across our globe that are so amazing. And so it's beautiful. I know that you know that today is the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And speaking of your family and your father, who was a rabbi, I know that you've written a song that is perfect for that. And we were just gonna, maybe if you would be willing, if you would just sing that song, and maybe we will take a moment of silence to remember the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and then we can talk about other
Thank,
things and bring it back. But yes,
thank you for asking, Elise. You know, I come from a family that there were at least 30 to 40 known family members that were murdered in the Holocaust. Not not people I knew, but that people my parents knew, that my grandparents knew. Um, we lost heavily, as did so many. You know, and when I do the Kaddish, the Jewish prayer for the dead, I do it not just for the Jews who were murdered, but for the Roma, for the LGBTQ, for the political dissidents, for the Polish officers murdered in the Katyn Forest. I think there is a specificity to Holocaust Remembrance Day, but we should never, any of us who come from people and peoples who are victims of genocide, whether it's the Armenians, whether today it's the Syrians, whether it's the Hmong, every people has its history of genocide. And I sing this for all of us, for all of them.
thank you.
In the city of Warsaw, such a long time ago, 200 children stand lined row on row with their freshly washed faces and freshly washed clothes. The children of Poland who never grow old. In the orphanage yard, not a child remains. The soldiers have heard them down to the trains, carrying small flasks of water and bags of dry bread, to march in the ranks of the unquiet dead, with their pale Jewish faces and pale haunted eyes. They march hand in hand down the street. No one cries, no one laughs, no one looks, no one turns, no one talks. As they march down the streets where my grandparents walked. And my grandparents stayed in that dark, bloody land. My own children too would have marched hand in hand to the beat of the soldiers, the jackbooted stamp that would measure their lives till they died in those camps. The cries of my children at night take me back to those pale, hollow faces in stark white and black. Only the blood of the children remains. It runs in the streets, and it runs in our veins.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you so much. And
This, by the way, is a true story. It's about an orphanage in Warsaw, and the Jewish doctor who served the kids in the orphanage, his name was Janos Kozak. It's Jnos and then Krzak. And I learned about his story in a book by Lucy Davidovitz named The War Against the Jews. When the Nazis deported the children to Auschwitz, they said to Dr. Janos Kozak, "You stay here. We need you. You do not need to go to the camp." And he said, "I will go with my children. I will go with my children." And knowing he was headed for extermination, he stayed with the children and marched to the cattle car with them. The details in the song about the dry, the little flasks of water, the dry crust of bread, those are taken from that history. These are true details. So it is terrible and it is good to remember. Thank you.
it is good to remember and to know that is connected to so many things that are happening even today and in this time that are yes. I know that folks here in the room want to stay connected with you, and I know that you have a beautiful newsletter. I receive it, and I know you reiterated that it is completely free. So Katie will put that link in the chat about how you can find out what Sai is up to, because of course this is a short time to be together. It's wonderful to be with you, Sai, but we could talk for hours because Sai has written musical plays. He's written books and poetry, and he does stand-up comedy. He does juggling.
Inadvertently, I don't mean to. It just
Sure.
comes out that way.
Yes. he's tap dance. No, I'm kidding. But there's so much, Cy, as he's been around for a bit. He has done a lot, and he continues to do so much to lift up so many voices, especially people in Appalachia, especially Jewish people, especially Black people, Black Lives Matter, so many different places where you are. And what I love, I think, about your work is that it's not, oh, everybody, it's specific. You're very, your songs are very specific to peoples and issues and causes, and um, they have served many of us well over the years. The first song I ever heard of yours was Eric on Mill, which I recorded with my band in the '80s, um, about a town here in Georgia. So we all probably have Saigon stories, and if not from the past, certainly for today. Thank you so much for being an
Thank
amazing.
you. I mean, if I could just say one more thing,
Please do.
Elise, which is by profession, I'm not a musician. I'm a civil rights union and community organizer. That's what I've done for well over half a century. That's what I do today. And I won't tell the long story today. Maybe in the week that includes April 23rd, my 78th birthday, when I will be hosting the Daily Antidote of Song and
Awesome.
bringing in some younger musicians who carry on the tradition. Maybe then I'll tell you the story of how I made my first album when I was 30, did my first public concert when I was 35 years old.
Wow.
And I told a reporter once, no, it's a hobby that got out of hand, but I am so happy that it did.
We kind of think your first concert was in the kindergarten, though. And I have to
Touche. Very well done. Very well done.
I have to agree with you because I always say singing isn't what I do. Singing is how I do what I do.
Mm,
And I think most of the
nice.
people that come here on the Daily Antidote of Song would agree that singing is how we do what we do, how we are in the world. So thank you again so much. I look forward to celebrating your birthday with you in April and maybe seeing you before then. Um, let's all say goodbye to Facebook Live. Thank you so much. Thank you, Facebook Live, for being here with us today.